made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Dr. Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic bootcamp, MoveWell University, the Black Diamond Club, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Dr. Alok Trivedi, Universal Traction Systems, Vantage Point Marketing, Element Mattresses, Imaging Services, Zinget Solutions, Chiro Thin, Dr. Peter Goldman's Zone School of Healing, and Everest Chiropractic Bootcamp. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 66 of Chiro Hustle. I'm your co-host, Luke Millette. Here's Jim Chester.
Hey everybody, so today we have the honor of interviewing Dr. Peter Morgan, and if you guys are interested in chiropractic mission trips, stay tuned to this episode. So Dr. Peter, what is your chiropractic story and what influenced you to become a chiropractor?
Well, it's an interesting story on how I became a chiropractor. Basically, I went to Woodstock in 1969. It was a chiropractic rock. It wasn't a chiropractic festival, but it was a rock festival. And but for me, it was sort of like a chiropractic experience because I went there when I was only 16 years old. And my dad actually drove me and three friends, and they dropped us off, and he let us use his tent, and we put our tent up. And interestingly enough, we put our tent up near a medical tent. And in the medical tent, there was a lot of people taking LSD, called Orange Barrel, Double Barrel Sunshine LSD. And a lot of people were having bad acid trips. So for 5 days, I got into the concert 2 days early. But for 5 days, I stayed in a medical tent just assisting people who were having bad acid trips. And basically what we did was we hugged people all day and just told them, you're having a bad acid trip. And so I searched for a profession after that concert for a long time. I didn't know anything about chiropractic. I found out that I went to a chiropractor when I was 2 years old, but I didn't know about it. And so when I found chiropractic, it brought me back to a place of where I was really a healer. Even though I was only 16 years old, I didn't know anything about healing. I found that by touching people and hugging people who were having some anxiety, that it's something that just hit home with me from that day on. And so when my chiropractors, when I was in Italy, when I found chiropractic, the chiropractors came out and hugged me, the first thing they did. And that brought me back to that moment in time before when I was 16 years old. And that's the way I got into chiropractic.
So what would you say makes you unique in the chiropractic world?
Well, yeah, I was a chiropractor for 16 years. I finished chiropractic school in 1985, and I opened to practice pretty quickly after graduating. And so I have been a chiropractor for 16 years. And in 2001, I got the Chiropractor of the Year award by the New York Chiropractic Council. But it was an award that came, but because of a tragedy that happened in New York, and that was when our Twin Towers got hit. And so I happened to be on the executive board, and I was good friends with the president of the organization, Alan Coyne, and I actually became the vice president and president after those days. And I'm still involved in that organization. I'm a district president of New York City right now. And so we immediately, when I was watching the Twin Towers go down, I was playing tennis at my tennis club that I was playing at the time. And I was watching it on TV. And at first when they came, because tomorrow is the day is September 11th, 2018, so we're 17 years ago. But I remember playing tennis and before the buildings went down, they're saying that a plane had struck the Twin Towers. And we thought it was a small little plane, but it turned out to be what it was. And immediately after I saw that live on television, I started calling people. Alan Coyne was the first person I called. I knew chiropractors were going to want to go down and serve. And so we did everything in our power, and we even went down to the site right away, trying to help, as soon as you could possibly after witnessing this. And so what happened was we couldn't get through to the mayor or the governor or anybody like that, of course, because of this crisis going on. But we did get through to the Red Cross. And it became the first time we worked with the Red Cross officially. Chiropractic, our profession, ever worked with the Red Cross. And so basically it was very tragic, and there was so many things that were, really just really hit your sensory nervous system when you see things like that. And but for 9 months, we were in 5 respite centers. So if you came down to the site at and you wanted to help out, and you wanted to go across the police barricades, you had to come to either me or Ellen Coyne or one of the people from the council, and you had to get we had to take a picture of you, we had to get you approved, and you would have a special badge that would get you through. And so for 9 months, that was like a mission trip for me. And so quickly thereafter, I was on a way to vacation with my wife and a friend of mine, and we were playing golf in the Dominican Republic and on a beautiful beach resort. The wives were going to the beach, and we were playing golf. And we brought our chiropractic tables. We like to adjust the hotel workers and stuff. And then someone asked me if I could go take care of their mom, which only lived a half a mile down the road. So I said, sure. We jumped in a taxi, I had a table, and we went to one of the poorest villages that I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like it. It was a Haitian village in the Dominican Republic that people were just so poor. I started adjusting this woman, and all these people started lining up, and they all looked like they wanted to get adjusted. So we started adjusting everybody, me and my friend, and next thing you know, I said, this has to be a mission trip. Made some flyers when I came back to New York, and to answer your question, I've done 88 missions now, and so I guess I'm famous for being a missionary leader. One of the things I can tell you is that I brought chiropractic to the Dominican Republic, or one of the people from our missions that brought chiropractic to the Dominican Republic, because there hadn't been really any chiropractors there, and now we have a number of offices, and other people have opened up new offices. And I brought chiropractic to the region of other Caribbean islands too. I started doing mission trips in a lot of different Caribbean islands: Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, Cuba. But we happened to be in Haiti in 2010 when we left Haiti. Our mission ended the day before probably the second worst earthquake in man's history. Over 300,000 people died. And so we went back immediately thereafter, 3 days later, and we basically opened up a chiropractic orphanage. I ran 10 chiropractic mission trips that year, and also in 2011 to that region in Port-au-Prince. And we just took in so many children. From 2010 to 2012, we placed over 1,000 children with people who lost their own children, Haitian people who lost their own children. And since that day, we've been running the only chiropractic orphanage that I've ever heard about. And I've made these announcements plenty of time that we have the only chiropractic orphanage, because it's totally funded by chiropractors. It's totally administrated by chiropractors. And so it's a chiropractic orphanage, but no one's made claim to being another one. So I don't know of any other one. So those are some of the things that I've done and been kind of like made known to be in the profession about.
Man, that it fills me up to know how much you've served and how much you've given. When was the first one? I didn't recall if you said that or not.
Well, the first one was really in New York City when the Twin Towers were hit. And then right after that, in 2002, we were playing golf in the Dominican Republic. So it started right around 2002, 2003. 2001 was when New York City, so that was like 9 months of everyone at the council, at the New York Chiropractic Council, was doing mission work. Basically, we were serving all of the sites, and people were coming from as far away as European countries and Hawaii. Chiropractors came from Hawaii to serve down in New York City. When that happened, tomorrow's the anniversary, 17 years later. So yeah, it's interesting that we're having this conversation today.
Yeah, after you said all this stuff, it stirred up a lot of emotions for me, and I was always thinking to myself, how do I do more? How do I add more into my life? How do I, bat down my itinerary to make sure that I'm doing good work and consistently staying on top of my game? How do you do that? How do you consistently stay on top of your game, managing so much with having clinics and, making sure that everybody's I's are dotted and T's are crossed? How do you manage all that?
Well, it's a difficult answer, to tell you the truth, because I really don't know. I mean, it just seems like a simple thing for me. It just seems like it's part of my daily routine, doing things like this. And quite frankly, most of the time I feel bored. Like I could be doing so much more. So yeah, I mean, I'm a kind of guy. I think what it comes down to is I just tackle any situation that comes in front of me. I handle any business or any type of situation promptly, and I don't wait on it. This has to be done, and then I do it. So it's just a matter of you give me something to do, and I'm going to have it done as quick as possible. I'm going to find out who to delegate it to, who I can see. Delegation is a key part. When you delegate to people, you have to just have people hold them accountable. You can't do everything yourself. It's about delegation, but you have to have key people that you can delegate to. The people that you're delegating things to just have to be entrepreneurial or some people that can get things done themselves. So that's the trick. If you find those people around you that you can delegate to that are also people that are busy and get things done, then it makes life so much simpler.
So do you have any favorite quotes or mantras or words of wisdom that keep your momentum going?
Yeah. I believe that we're changing the world by touching lives. That's the motto of our organization, Mission Life International, our 501c3, and I came up with that one, changing the world by touching lives. I think it's a really great motto because we are touching people and changing lives around the world. And but kind of only chiropractors kind of really get the meaning of that, because that could even work for people who are doing like eyeglasses, in missions or other types of missions, because you're changing the world by touching lives. And touching, can have so many different ramifications to other people. Maybe delivering donations is touching their lives. But really cool about chiropractic is we're really touching their lives. And so I like that one. That's mine.
So what do you think you'd be able to accomplish if more people knew about these mission trips that you do?
Well, it's really cool because a lot of people have come on my mission trips and are now doing mission trips. And I like that because I feel that even though, you can look at it from a competitive point of view, because I have less numbers of people on my trips now, even though who could complain about 35, 40 people coming on this trip in September. But I've had as many as 106 people on a mission trip. So I like the big numbers. I'm a volume type of guy in practice. And in my mission trips, we see so many people. We see more people than any mission trip. I can tell you that. But I look at it the same way as my chiropractic practice. There's so many people out there that we need more chiropractors and we need more mission trips. If everybody was doing mission trips around the world and people were going on them regularly, and people who were not chiropractors going on a chiropractic mission trip, seeing what they're doing, I think that's just, to me, mind-boggling. So I'm hoping that more people do mission trips. And now that I got Life University working with me, holy cow, I'm bumping myself back up to 100 people on a mission trip.
Yeah, that's really cool to hear. I've been, in touch with you now for about, I'd say, since 2015, and I've seen, your momentum. I still, honestly, out of all the people I've met along this path, Peter, I've met thousands of people, and your business card is the only one that I keep in my wallet.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Well, I always knew that there's a bigger game with you. I always knew that there was a bigger purpose for why we became in touch at Cal Jam when we met each other. I always knew from that day that there was a big story to be told, and that it was going to be somebody like you and I coming together to start bringing the chiropractic message more mainstream. And that's really why I was so excited to get you onto an episode of Chiro Hustle, because I wanted to get you more exposure, and I wanted more people to know exactly what you do, why you do it, and what you do it for. And one of the cool things about Chiro Hustle now is we're getting 10,000 listens an episode. So anybody out there listening to what we do, we're getting about 40,000 listens every month on our content, which is something I think is massive for the chiropractic space, because there's probably not 40,000 chiropractors out there listening to our messages. And the main premise behind what we did, Peter, is we wanted to get more people listening to our information about chiropractic that weren't chiropractors, and to let chiropractic live outside the four walls of chiropractic. So I honestly think that, the synergy between what you're doing in the mission trips, us holding the reins to media and just being so integrated now into this chiropractic marketplace, I think, the future looks really bright for all of us working together.
Yeah, it's. I think the media is fantastic. Although Donald Trump doesn't really like it right now, but certainly, how do you communicate with people? And we have to have this media. Otherwise, everybody, no one could even know the kind of stuff that I'm doing. But all the other people that are doing great stuff, the missionaries who are doing work all over the world. In Colombia, these guys are doing great work, taking people on mission trips, chiropractic mission trips to Colombia right now, where there's also this type of poverty and things going on. So yeah, there's mission trips all over the place. So certainly, just interviewing other missionaries too and enlightening the world. See, I believe that if people saw what we do, that they would be really, really interested in it. Sometimes what happens is the people when we're in the big cities sometimes, and everybody's working on their business and their family and providing incomes and things. Sometimes the people get lost in what healers are. The public might think differently what is a real healer, but if they see what we do, and when we do it in these type of circumstances where people are really poor, it's just remarkable to me, because there's nothing like that. Like, for example, any profession you could go and you want to go and do a mission, you could do a mission, and the churches do a mission. I lead even Christian mission trips. But really, no one, and I happen to be a Christian, but I can tell you this, no one is doing the work as close to Jesus Christ as chiropractors. No one. And particularly when you're seen on a mission trip, particularly when you're in Haiti, when people are coming up to you, and they came to you by donkey and a horse, and there's like thousands of them. And you feel like you're in the time of Jesus Christ. And we're delivering miracles to these people. They look at us as the Great White Hope, and we're delivering miracles by touching them. They call us the touch healers in Haiti, which, they came up with that name because there are no chiropractors in Haiti. Even though I've been doing all these mission trips all these years, there's still no one who's ever opened up a practice there because people don't have any money. So, but they call us the touch healers, and they all know when we're coming. They get the word out when we get there. Every city that we go to, they all come. And the most amazing thing for me one time was maybe about 6 months after the earthquake happened, and I had a pretty large mission team of maybe 35 to 40 people. And I was in the hospitals. We were going in the hospitals, and when we go into the hospitals, and we would adjust people who were in hospitals, and these big. There was 1 million people living in 10 cities, and we would go everywhere to adjust people. But someone said to me when I was giving a presentation telling the chiropractic story to an administrator of a hospital, and he overheard me, and he said, "You have to come to my village. You have to come to my village. We really need your work that you're doing." And so whenever anybody asked me to come get adjusted, to me it's like a divine appointment. But I asked them, I said, "We have a team of about 40 docs. How many people would you need for you to come to your village?" And he said, "We would need everybody, all your team." And I go, "But I don't know if you understand what we do in the chiropractic, the type of chiropractic that we deliver in Haiti. We do mostly full spine, diversified Gangstead type adjusting. And we can adjust thousands of people. A team of 5 people can adjust, 300 people in a day, 1,500 to 2,000 people." And so I said, so you would have to have so many people to go, "Don't worry, just bring your whole team." And when we got to this place, I got to this little town, and there wasn't that many people there. It was way up in the mountains. And so I said, I thought the pastor didn't really understand at that point. I was a little frustrated. But then he made a wave to a guy down the road, and who made a wave to another guy. And in these mountains, there was no trees on the mountains, and you could see all the way up into the mountains. And then all of a sudden, there was like all these people coming from the mountains. Like, I'm talking about walking on a dirt road, like hundreds of people that I'm visualizing from far away, and coming to this little village, like people from everywhere. And I really felt like I was Moses, man. I swear to God. Like God had just talked to me, and I was Moses, and all these people were coming down from the mountaintops to have a healing, man. It was just, so I've had experiences like this. I've had experiences where I got in front of a stadium in Santiago in front of 10,000 people and told the chiropractic story to 10,000 people on a microphone and in Spanish. Another time they wanted me to throw the first pitch out at a baseball game in the Dominican Republic. And that was for one of these big championship Dominican Republic baseball teams. And I was doing a mission trip in Haiti. So they picked me up in a helicopter because the mission trip ended on the same day as this event. They picked me up on a helicopter on the border, and they helicoptered me into the stadium, and I threw out the first pitch. So I've had like these amazing things happen to me in chiropractic. So it's like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Dang, I want to throw the first pitch out. That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So yeah, I've had quite a interesting chiropractic career, that's for sure.
So where do you see the chiropractic profession going in the next 20 years or so?
I think it's going to be going to good places. I think it's going to be going to great places. I already know it's going to be going to great places. I don't think. I know it's going to great places. Because it's something that just makes sense. And people have been swayed to not think it makes sense who don't utilize it in like the United States because other people were saying things about it. And the people who might say things about it are the people that may be utilizing a lot of vaccinations and medicines and drugs. But I think people are waking up to all of that. I think people are waking up to the realization that the drugs isn't the answer, and that and the vaccinations is not the answer. So I think they're waking up to that. And when they do, the only thing that really does anything that can really help people at its maximal healing potential is chiropractic for the most part. I mean, of course, you have other healing arts like massage and acupuncture and different things like Reiki and stuff like that. But chiropractic is the one that stands out above all of the healing arts. And so I think it's going to see its day. I don't know if I will be around for that, but it could be 100 years from now. But it's going to see its day. And it's coming, and people are all going to be lining up for chiropractic the way they do in Haiti. So I see it in Haiti, people lining up. Of course, it's mission, so people are not paying money. They don't have any money to pay anyway. They're really poor. They only have love, and they give you the greatest hug and the greatest look and the greatest thanks that they can. But they're living in huts on dirt floors, and, they're scrounging around for the next meal. So we're able to, do a lot of things to help people. And so it's our way of helping, a country that's been having a lot of problems. It's just a way of helping people. And we don't only do it in Haiti. I only happen to do it in Haiti and the Dominican Republic now because of the earthquake. But I still do it on the local level as well. We have here in New York, the New York Chiropractic Council has a soup kitchens that we go and adjust people at. I work with my church and go to homeless shelters. We pour soup into people's, cups and we adjust them. And, we go to prisons, not only in the Dominican Republic, but we've been invited to a few prisons here in the United States. It's something that we do at home and abroad, but it's something so special that when you give of yourself, you just get back so much more. I've always had the philosophy that I've already been given, and so I'm giving back. I mean, where I live and where I, work and, all the things I do is so blessed. My family life, everything. I live in a beautiful home. I live in a beautiful area. So I've been given everything already. So it's about giving back, basically. And then when you give back, you get more even.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Dr. Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic boot camp, MoveWell University, the Black Diamond Club, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Dr. Alok Trivedi, Universal Traction Systems, Vantage Point Marketing, Element Mattresses, Imaging Services, Zingit Solutions, Chiro Thin, Dr. Peter Goldman's Zone School of Healing, and Everest Chiropractic Boot Camp. Let's hustle.
Yeah, and you said some things there that brought up some emotions for me. And being an early pioneer for this profession, which is, by the way, the Chiropractic Founders Day is in, I think, 8 days from now. So, we're about to hit 123 years as a profession. And I think that the early pioneers are yet to be established. I think we have some people, like we always say, we're standing on the shoulders of giants. And I think we are. But who are the next giants? And that's the question that no one has the answer to yet. But seeing some of these early pioneers, Peter, these pioneers and these trailblazers, it's important to make recognition to where we may be going. And like you said, the profession's going to do well.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to do well. Look, one of the things that's really important is doing what you're doing. You're bringing the message. You're bringing the messages. So the messages don't have to just stay, in one place. You're bringing the messages, and that inspires people to do more things. That inspiration to do more things and comes about because when they hear other people doing things.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And, Peter, one of the things that really made sense to me was marketing. I was like, all these chiropractors talk about marketing and they talk about this, they talk about that, but who's really marketing for the profession? And I think that that's a space that we found that we could hold because being non-denominational with our chiropractic approach, we're storytellers. We help weave the story together for the profession, not just for whatever technique you're driven by or whatever school you're driven by or state association. We're chiropractic driven, and I think that that's something when we think about marketing the whole profession. I know that there's still people out there like, gosh, I can't wait till we get a Super Bowl ad. Well, you don't get a Super Bowl ad until you start marketing every day and you start figuring out ways to get the message out there on a larger scale to where, what happens at that point? The Super Bowl people say, hey, can we have a chiropractic ad? And I think that's where, you said, you didn't ask all those people to walk down the mountaintops. They just were told to.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that, marketing is incredible. If you look at BJ Palmer, for example, holy cow, certainly the greatest marketer of chiropractic that there ever could possibly be. I mean, he was just incredible. Started a radio station, on his own, the second radio station ever. Had Ronald Reagan as the DJ. Holy cow, having circuses and elephants riding down, in Davenport. My God, the guy was just incredible. So certainly you got some good, got a good guy to be your mentor there, to get that word about chiropractic out. BJ had it down in a time when there wasn't this social media even, and it wasn't even this communication. I could just imagine he must be so happy for you doing this. I mean, because this is what he wanted. This is what he wants. He wants people to know about this. So that's pretty cool.
What are
BJ's words, man? Because BJ loves marketing.
What are some of your marketing strategies? How do you get so many people on board with these mission trips?
Yeah, oh my God. I've done so many things in marketing. I remember one time we had this chiropractic office. That was a long, long time ago. But this is back in the 80s. But we used to have these pretty girls dressed up in these short skirts with rollerblades, handing out brochures. We had a parade. We had a parade in the Bronx. We had offices in the Bronx. We had a parade in the Bronx, and we tried to make subluxation. And we tried to make it out of paper mache, but we had a lot of people in our parade. But we had one of these big paper mache subluxations, but no one knew what it was. You couldn't even tell. I remember hearing a guy saying, "What is that thing?" And it was rolling down the street in the big parade. And another guy says, "It looks like garbage." But everyone was writing. We wrote stamp subluxation. We had a sign. We had a subluxation with shirts, and they were red, white, and blue. And we had the subluxation with a red line through the middle of it. But no one even knew what subluxation was. But we were doing everything. We did everything in marketing as well. And I'm trying to market to everybody for our practices. I mean, I like to market people who can refer. That's a huge thing. So of course, medical doctors, lawyers, everybody. I like anybody that has the potential to referral is the person I'm going to try to get referrals from first. But certainly, just asking your people for referrals is probably the number one way. Is hand out card. I have like 4 different business cards for each different thing that I'm working with. So handout card is a really good one, and then get word of mouth. Certainly being on a show like this will help, but basically, just staying on top of things, having people to work on things, and just getting the word out there. I mean, I go everywhere. I just came back from Amsterdam. At a great chiropractic seminar that I spoke at with a lot of other great chiropractors that were speaking there. It was called Axiom. And then I went to Paris. I spoke in Paris to a group of students from a chiropractic school in Paris. I'm going to Cairo Europe. I'm getting to speak in Cairo Europe in October. There'll be 1,000 chiropractors there. I'm speaking at Stu Warner's Pediatrics conference here in the New York metropolitan area. He's got like 45 top-notch speakers speaking there. So it's just a matter of, I'm speaking at New Beginnings in October, and I just finished speaking at a bunch of different places. It's just I'm out there, going out there, and no one's paying me to do this, and I use my own money for flying to places and going to these places and staying in hotels. I took my wife and daughter to Amsterdam and Paris, and the girls like to shop, so I gotta get that crack going up, So it's just a matter of you gotta, I'm one of these guys. You got to keep working, so keep bringing in those paychecks every week, and that kind of gets you motivated. That you have to do things. But with the nonprofit, which the mission trips actually cost me money. I'm putting a lot of money into that. Each person's mission trip. I keep our mission trips really cheap. We had a special on just to go to Haiti for 4 days for $400 only, and that includes where you're going to stay and your food and your boat ride. That we have to take a boat ride to a small island. So that includes all that for $400. And so like people pay $400, $500 to come on a mission. If they go on the whole mission, it costs up to $1,000. But I typically pay way more than anybody else because the people that we have working as our translators now are our own children that from the orphanage. Because we took them in when they were 8, now they're 18. 10 years later after the earthquake, or 8 years later, so they're 16, 17, 18. Some of our older kids, so they all got jobs. I have some of the kids that drive our vehicles, a bus driver. So when we do a mission trip, we're bringing a lot of jobs there, and I like to pay the people well. Our security guy, we have this really cool security guy. I never knew I was going to want to have a security guy. I never planned on it. This guy just started following me around one day, and he loves me. He loves our mission. He loves chiropractic, and he became our security guard. He's this big guy, and we got him all these nice things, and I give him and his wife and kids live at the orphanage, and so we pay them more money when we go on a mission trip than they would make working security for 4 or 5 weeks at a 40-hour job. Certainly our people, we bring jobs, we bring a lot of jobs on the missions and all the stuff we're doing. We're building things. We're building a restaurant so that our children will have jobs. So each time in the future when we go on the mission trip, we're just going to make the mission trip fee lower, but we're not going to include food, and we're going to bring you to the restaurant where the children will be working, and that business will make money for them. So that will be a way of supporting them and having jobs for the people. We brought 75 bicycles down on the last trip. I bought a bus in New York City last year, and we sent that down. So we have our own bus down there. We have 2 3-wheel vehicles. We have 2 motorcycles. We have a car. We have 75 bicycles that we gave a lot of the bicycles away, but we kept each one for each one of our children. So we have 29 bicycles that allow them to do courier work. It's a place where people don't even they just have motorcycles and stuff. So a lot of interesting things are happening. We're building a clinic. We're going to have the clinic so that when the schools come down, we'll have our own clinic down there. We work in hospitals. We adjust medical doctors. nurses and all the patients in the hospitals in Guantanamo where we serve. But now we're going to have our own clinic. We just built housing, thanks to Dr. Steven Simonetti and Gary Deutschman. We built housing for where the children are living. We moved them out of a place we were renting to our own housing. So now that missionaries who come on the mission trip, we have a place where we stay at a house that we rent out, but we also can have 5 people a night stay at the orphanage. If they want to stay on bunk beds with the children, they can stay at the orphanage with the children. So, so all these wonderful things are happening. I brought a pastor one time on the mission trip, the first mission trip, and he says, we just bought a piece of land. We got our first piece of land. This is about 4 years ago. And the pastor said, every time you come to the land, when you come to Haiti, every time you bring your whole mission to the spot and pray on the land. It's like planting seeds, and things will sprout up. And it's amazing how true that is. We went there, we just had a dirt piece of land. And now we have all these buildings and all these things and all this stuff going on. The children living there. And we're going to have a clinic there, and we're going to have a restaurant there. So, all these things are sprouting up. I had this dream under a network adjustment one time, and I traveled into the future. This was 6 or 7 years ago, and I told a lot of people about this dream for 6 or 7 years. I had this dream that I traveled into the future, that I was an eagle, and I was swooping down over the land that we had purchased, and we didn't even have any land at that time. And I saw all of these things, and I visualized the president of a chiropractic college giving a talk at our place, and I visualized all this happening in a dream under a network chiropractic adjustment. And so now I saw it as real as it's going to be, like it's now. So things like that have happened to me. That's pretty amazing. I think traveling into the future and seeing your goals completed before, wow, it's just nothing. That's pretty awesome. And I think anybody can do that. There's actually meditation tapes that train you how to do that. And I've been doing that kind of work where you train to go into the future and see your goals completed already.
So what kind of things do you like to listen to and read in your spare time?
I like to read about sports. So that's something I do daily. I read about sports. I like to listen to blues and jazz. And I like to go to rock and roll concerts. I like taking care of rock and roll artists. It was pretty interesting. Me and a few people were the chiropractors at the Mountain Jam, which is a chiropractic rock concert that's 4 days in Hunter Mountain, New York, which is the closest good skiing to New York City, about 2 hours away. And they have 4 days of different rock bands, like the Allman Brothers and people like that. And we happened to be the chiropractors one year backstage and got to take care of the original Bob Marley band, the Wailers. They put us up in New York City at concerts and we adjust them, which is pretty interesting. But I like reggae music. I like reggae gospel. I like gospel music. Yeah, I really like gospel music. I like going to church on Sundays, man. I go to some really good churches. One of the things that really awesome is that I'm board members of a lot of chiropractic organizations and also my local community. But my church just asked me to be on the board of their church, the First Baptist Church of White Plains. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to be on the board of the church. Yeah.
Peter, you know what, man, I really like you. I like that you do so much for your community at home and abroad. I like that you're so involved in getting onto the stages and speaking about what you do and getting more people to help you through their influence. I think you've done a really good job of marketing what you do as a missionary and helping serve, and not just on your own land, but that abroad. I think that it's really cool that you have the interests that you do, because I have similar interests. And I know without God in our life, nothing else is possible. And I think that's really cool. You guys pray on that piece of land there, and to see what's coming full circle with the clinic and the orphanage, and everything's happening for the right direction. And, you know, I just think it's really an honor to have you on to our podcast and being able to talk to you about things that matter to you and that might matter to a lot more people. And I know our platform is growing and growing, and more people are getting in tune with what we're doing as a team. But is there anything that we didn't ask you during this interview that you'd like to share with people out there?
No, I just want people to understand that when people see chiropractic on the chiropractic mission trip, or people who get adjusted on the chiropractic mission trip, or the people that are delivering the adjustments on the chiropractic mission trip, I feel like it's from the divine. I really feel there's something so powerful and so spiritual that I think that a lot of people, the more people the better, who can witness a chiropractic mission trip, would not only help their view of chiropractic if they're not a chiropractic, but will enable them to understand its truest form of chiropractic, that it's a gift from God for man. That's what I think that people need to understand. So I hope that you go to a mission trip. I hope you can go on one of mine. But if not, if it's a different part of the world, go on a chiropractic mission trip. Participate in the chiropractic mission trip. You don't have to be a chiropractor. You don't have to. There's plenty of things to do on our mission trips. There's so many things to do. We have a show with children. We have music. We have arts. We have a program called Love Notes for Haiti. People give me musical instruments. I bring them to Haiti. I hire music teachers, and we teach the kids how to play classical music. We have many guitars. We have many horns. We have cellos. We have violins. We hooked up with the largest music circle in Haiti, and they're putting on our campus, they're putting in a music school. And they offered us a big piece of property. They have 5,000 square feet of property. 5,000 acres of property. And they have all these plans of opening up big arenas and and maybe one day there'll even be a chiropractic school on that property. So amazing things are happening. So go on a chiropractic mission trip.
So what are some online resources you can tell people if they wanted to find out more about you and your mission trips?
Well, we have several websites. One is Chiro Missions with an S, chiromissions.com. That basically you could sign up for a mission trip and come on for a chiropractic mission trip. We have a Mission Life International.com. That's our 501c3 organization. There you can also sign up for a mission trip. You can sign up for, you can see all the history of what we've done. You can look at all the pictures and videos of things what we've done. We also have a website called Mission Life International University.com. If you go on that website, you can take a course, Think and Grow Rich, and basically it's a workbook for Think and Grow Rich. And if you do the homework assignments that I provide and send them to me, I'll send you mine back, because it's a book that's really designed to study. To read it a couple of times is great, but if you want to grow rich, you should take this course, and it's free. It's on my website. So MissionLifeInternationalUniversity.com. We'll have other courses on there for free as well.
All right. Well, that just about wraps up today's episode of Chiro Hustle. Peter, I want to thank you for jumping on a call with us today.
Great. Well, thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to being on in the future again.
Yeah, and we'll see you at New Beginnings.
Great. All right.
Have
you
a
guys
great
have a great day.
You too.
You too, brother.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.